And there we go, we have some moves.
But we were talking about chess families, and Magnus himself comes from one. His dad's a chess player. I've seen him play open events as well as sisters. So there is a lot of chess going on in the Carlsen family, and we've got the king's pawn opening. David, what do you make of these first few moves and the archangels by black?
Yeah, that's right. Early days here. I like what Tabatabaei is doing. He's chosen quite an ambitious setup for black. Black's bishop out there on c5 on a really nice diagonal and provoking black to come forward. Here we see the white bishop drop.
Messier, the more genius you are. Yep, 100%.
I agree.
Yeah.
Not that I've seen your room. I just meant like...
But the chess has been equally messy in this matchup. And as you mentioned, David, that an ambitious approach by Amin, the bishop coming out, the dark squared bishop coming out early on, keeping it ahead of the pawn chain rather than behind the pawn chain. Is there any chance of black going all out on the king side, pushing Gary the g-pawn this time?
Breaking this pin we see between the white dark square bishop and the black queen on the board now. And that does signal aggression. We're going to see a really imbalanced game where black has seized space all over the board. On both flanks now, black has advanced pawns, but of course, still complicated.
I love it.
But Magnus did just bring his knight to that square where it was attacked. So let's do a quick action replay of the last couple of moves. It looked like a very standard position around here. Of course, white has these doubled e-pawns, but black has pushed forward with g5, weakening himself somewhat. And now Magnus, knight to h4, beautiful move. Jumping in potentially to an outpost. If this knight is taken, it is actually poisoned, then suddenly you would live to regret this. This is a deadly pin. The knight and queen hit, and this knight is falling next move. This would end in a decisive attack against the black king. So the bait was not taken here, and bishop to g4. I wouldn't be surprised if Magnus moves the queen. I don't know where, but Magnus, he's going to move his queen, and there we go. Queen to e1. Same idea. I don't think you can afford to trade light squared bishops. That black bishop is needed to trade off for that white knight if it ever jumps in. So Amin has to just drop his bishop back somewhere and hope that Magnus cannot stir up any attack in the next few moves.
Come back to white black's position.
I felt it was really risky, actually. I mean, and there we see bishop takes bishop.
Oof. 99 problems and a bishop is one, definitely, yeah. That looks horrible, doesn't it? I mean, look at that square. What a square that white knight has found. And, you know, you might even have some tactics here, but simply this move just seems so strong, right?
Yeah, with a knight on f5, Amin will not survive. It's going to be checkmate surely here.
It was a good move. Yep. Pretty much always. We did see one case, which had let down the side, but obviously you want to open up the black king because of your fantastic white knight. You've got a rook.
Thinking, you know, first things, you open up the H line and then all guns ahoy on that H file.
Yeah, dilemma for Tabatabaei.
Now the bishop is coming into the game. Sorry, David.
No, go on.
No, I was just going to say, now the bishop is introduced into the attack. I mean, it's all going wrong.
Attacking the rook, attacking the knight. What to do next if the rook drops back? I mean, at the very least, the queen can start coming. Feels like something's lining up against this knight.
And, yeah, I mean, OK, he's also playing on the other side now.
That black knight on a5 was actually white's friend. It's at the edge of the board. So what's the deeper concept of actually pushing it back towards his own king?
One of the things when you are playing a defensive type of position, you know, you just got to be optimistic. I mean, especially if you have such a position like this where you're expected 9 times out of 10 to lose. Magnus now striking in the center. You go back, I go forward, is what he says. Now,
you know what I'd do if I was black here?
Just resign.
Go and have a nice dinner, you know, takeaway, maybe.
Trouble for black, and with that last pawn trade, it looks like Magnus has solved his central pawn structure problem and created another square for the knight to retreat to e3, where you can start targeting the f7 pawn. Amin shaking his head. He's trying to create some play of his own, but it looks like it's not going to be enough. The knight falls back to g3, c3 pawn's defended, f7 hanging.
Smelly.
Yeah, it's getting worse and worse. Magnus is just slowly, methodically improving his pieces. Look at that. The knight on f5 was glorious, but it was in the way of white's queen and rook. So he maneuvers it, takes 2 tempi, well spent, to the side of the board, but attacking this f6 pawn and not even a hint of activity, not even a hint of counterplay. And that's the most frustrating thing in chess, when your opponent doesn't give you a chance. And, OK, forced to retreat. There we go. Breakthrough.
Wow.
Did you see that?
Plays, he wins. It's just how it goes in chess.
It's like a conductor. It's just everyone just seems to be moving to his beat. All the pieces landing on the squares. And this is a killer blow.
Oh my God.
Simply walks into a double attack. The knight retreats. That is a fork. And this would be resign time. Actually, this is happening right now. That pawn could not be tolerated. But black is losing material. And not just that, but the pawn in the middle on f6 will fall next move as well.
This looks like it's about to finish any moment. He does fall back with the queen and the king. Recaptures in g6. That's playing with fire.
It's white having a rook for black's knight and pawn. So actually only technically 1 point down. But it's just the fact that, well, actually another pawn's dropping. Missed that one. I was just going to say it's just the fact the black king is so open. You don't even need to take this pawn. He could have gone for checkmate Magnus, but no, he's just doing the maths here. He's counting, collecting.
Quite a fight by Amin. If you don't look at the scoreline, I don't think it tells the full story. Magnus winning this, taking it in 3 matches, the games were a lot closer than what it seems if you just take a look at the scorecard.
He has played very enterprising chess, and I think that game one was maybe key. I mean, when you get a chance against Magnus, you got to take it. You don't generally get more than one chance against Magnus, and he could have won that ending and actually taken a lead in the match. And obviously now things are really bad. He's hanging on here, but yeah, it's not going the way he wants.
Yeah, that's the thing with the top players in the world. Some kind of super strong grandmasters like Amin Tabatabaei, they can match them step by step. But when it comes down to the crunch moments, that killer instinct just seems to be a bit sharper with players like Magnus, Fabiano, these kind of really elite grandmasters. They spot everything. They very rarely blunder, very rarely miss an opportunity, and kind of incrementally they seem to rack up the wins.
Is over. And Simon, the point that you were making, that against Magnus, you don't get chances. If you get that one chance, you better grab it with both hands.
There we go. If you want to be really sadistic, I was going to say, just slowly but surely, now the white B pawn is stepping forward, jump out the way, and white's bishop indirectly hits the black queen.
It doesn't matter whether you win in 60 moves or 40 moves. And there we see Magnus pushing his pawn forward. He's getting ready to perhaps push the B pawn as well and create another passed pawn.
Miniature, or would you rather win a 100-move long torture game?
David. It depends what I'm doing in the evening. You know, generally I'd probably like to do something in the evening. So give me a bit of brutality and I will take it. But I think I know the answer to this one. David, if you had a choice between a 20-move miniature King Hunt Brilliancy Prize or let's say 150 moves to you, 150 move grind, 8 hours later.
No, break the Guinness Book of Records.
All the restaurants are shut, no bars are open, all the arbiters are sleeping. Which one would you prefer?
I would take a 300-move game. 150 is rookie numbers. And
Rookie numbers.
I think we're about to see a result.
Yeah.
Bishop to e3, last move by
And
Magnus.
that's it, it's done. Magnus Carlsen takes the victory. Amin Tabatabaei resigns. And with that, everything is over. The queen is...